Sin and sinner. Everybody knows these 3 points of view is very important as far as the sin and sinner is concerned. When is the time people call someone a sinner? When is the time the person calls self a sinner? And when is the time God calls someone a sinner? People need at least one sinful action to call someone a sinner. But the person, the sinner himself, does not need a sinful action to call himself or herself a sinner. He or she needs only sinful thoughts to call the self a sinner. But in God's case, God neither needs sinful action nor needs sinful thoughts. God calls someone a sinner on the basis of the sinful source. What is this sinful source? Sinful source is simply our sinful nature. Out of this sinful nature, all the sins are flowing. Now it is very simple and clear. Sinful nature gives sinful thoughts and sinful thoughts gives sinful actions. The minimum qualification to call someone a sinner is not the sinful action, not the sinful thoughts, but sinful nature. There are some misunderstanding that only crimes are sins. Crimes also a sin. Crimes are part of sin, but not only the crimes are sins, but also there are some other aspects which are also sin. More important observation, since we know the whole process of sin and sinner, so we can have a common understanding that all the humans are sinner, but we don't need to call anyone you are more sinner than me, or we don't need to boast in front of anyone that I am with less sins than you. God called everyone sinner in general, so we don't need to judge anyone by their appearance, because sin, all the humans are sinner, but sin is not visible by the appearance. Now, what is the permanent solution from these 3 points of views? There are temporary solutions here and there dealing with our sinful actions, dealing with our sinful thoughts, but the permanent solution is to deal with our sinful nature. That can be the permanent and everlasting solution. See, we humans are almost God. We are almost like God. We are not God. We are almost like God. Only sin is separating us from God. Otherwise, without sin, we are almost like God. To reinstate our position with God, our relationship with God, definitely we are in desperate need of God's help to renew our relationship with God. Dealing with our sinful nature can be the best and permanent solution to come out of our guilt. So, as far as the sin and sinner is concerned, all the humans are on the same boat. Nobody is up and is down. Only God can save us. Why this sin and sinner factor is related to God? Because it is directly related to soul. Soul is related to God. Only God can save our souls. According to our sinful nature, our sinful actions, sinful thoughts, we have the eternal punishment, which is hell. So that is why this topic is more important. We have to discuss and we have to look for the permanent solution which can take us to the heaven. So for that, sinful nature is to be dealt, and that only God can do and save us from the eternal punishment, eternal death. Otherwise, we cannot say anyone that you are more sinner than me or I am more holy than me.